Colonel Griffin, good evening.
You have a sit rep, ma'am?
Yes. 9 days ago, the Celeste reported the arrival of an unidentified vessel at Panzyr's Nadir jump point. It broadcast no IFF, and visual scans confirmed no merchant or military markings. A cargo dropship detached and began a hard burn for the planet.
With respect, I read the intelligence reports, ma'am.
At 0800 hours today, the Panzyr militia lost contact with their navigational outpost on Panzyr's moon Wasp. Shortly after, the unidentified cargo craft made planetfall 60 kilometers east of Mariposa and disembarked a mixed company of mechs and vehicles. Since then, they have attacked the town of Thurville and seized the Santiago airfield. The planetary government has reached out to us to negotiate for military aid.
The Rangers were hired to guard your salvage teams, ma'am. This is outside the scope of our contract.
Their government is open to retaining your services on subcontract.
We'll want a larger share of the salvage from any combat action.
As far as the Oregon Trade Coalition is concerned, you can have it all.
Then tell the Panzyrans they have themselves some mercenaries. The Arcadian Rangers are already deployed, protecting salvage teams from the Oregon Trade Coalition at Debris Field Bravo. The Red Death has deployed from their dropship and taken the Santiago airfield, a nearby supply depot, and the town of Thurville. The Rangers have their work cut out for them, as their current deployment places them far from the Panzyran assets they are hired to protect. The Rangers move quickly, securing the nearest supply depot and pushing into the outskirts of New Goldra. The Red Death assaults Factory C-17, pushing out the local militia as the other half of their force starts moving loot to their dropship and establishing a field base with repair capacity. The Rangers choose to split their force further. Their armor lance, Claymore, secures the residential spaces in southwest New Goldra, as their light lance, Saber, performs reconnaissance in the mountain pass through Harrison Valley. They are able to get a read on the strength of the enemy force in Thurville as the Rangers' command lance, Falchion, moves to rejoin the rest of the force. Meanwhile, confident that they can move uncontested for the time being, the Red Death splits again at Factory C-17, sending a battle mech lance toward New Goldra and one of their hunter lances, equipped with cargo transport, to pillage the area around Fort Decimus. Wary of letting the Rangers consolidate their forces, the Red Death moves to intercept Falchion Lance in the city's warehouse district as their heavy lance closes in slowly from the east. Falchion Lance have assumed a defensive posture in New Goldra's warehouse district and have been tasked with defending a series of buildings. These objectives have been labeled Alpha through Echo. At least 3 buildings must survive for the Rangers to score 500 victory points, though the militia has offered a bonus for successfully defending all 5. Additionally, destroying or crippling the enemy commander grants 250 VP. The Ranger force is commanded by Colonel Griffin in the Falconer, who has 1 edge point and the Patient Edge ability. This will grant them the option to re-roll all of their attack dice provided they use standstill movement. Falchion Lance is rounded out by a Gladiator, Hoplite, and Starslayer. The Red Death has a different objective. They are here to stall the Rangers' command lance to prevent them from linking up with the rest of their company in the city center. They also get 250 VP if they eliminate the Rangers' commander, and 500 VP for destroying or crippling 50% of the Rangers' force. The Red Death's force comprises a pair of lances. one entirely of battle mechs, and one mixed lance for pillaging and transporting loot back to their dropship. The battle mech lance consists of an urban mech, a heavily modified blackjack, which we will refer to as a frankenmech, and a pair of industrial mechs, a cross-cut forestry mod and a centurion militia mech. The mixed lance consists of a Phoenix Hawk, who will be the force commander for this sortie, a Wasp, a Hetzer wheeled assault gun, and a squad of battle armor. They also possess a Baruch heavy hover transport, which they will be leaving out of this fight. The Red Death's pair of Corsair fighters is en route and will grant them battlefield support in the form of 2 light bombings and 2 light strikes beginning on turn 4. For this sortie, several optional rules are in effect: advanced terrain, ejection and abandoning units, fire and smoke, front-loaded initiative, and multiple attack rolls. The Rangers get a +1 to their initiative, having prepared their defense. Also, any collapsed buildings will count as light woods for the purposes of movement cost and line of sight. The Rangers win initiative in turn 1 with an 8 against the Red Death's 7. The Red Death enters the battlefield's northeast corner, pushing the bulk of their force around the east behind a block of office buildings surrounding Objective Charlie. Their commander's Phoenix Hawk, supported by a slow-moving urban mech, pushes wide to the west to put pressure on the warehouses there. It's immediately apparent that the Red Death, being less mobile and more lightly armed than the Rangers, are at a disadvantage pushing the attack. In order to have a chance, they need to force the Rangers to close with them on their terms. They open fire on Building Bravo, setting it alight. As the smoke billows from the savaged warehouse, the Rangers cautiously push forward. The Starslayer takes a couple of shots at the enemy Centurion from long range, missing wide on a 4. The Red Death's Frankenmech and Hetzer peek around Charlie's buildings as the Rangers advance their Gladiator and Hoplite. Weapons fire erupts as the forces engage each other. The Hoplite's autocannon roars and the Gladiator's PPC fills the air with the stench of ozone as they pour fire into the Hetzer. It takes 2 points of damage and one of its tires blows as it takes a motive hit, halving its speed. The Red Death give as good as they got as the Hetzer and Frankenmech return fire. Dawson's Hoplite staggers and its heat sinks work overtime as a hit from the Frankenmech's plasma rifle spills fire across its savaged armor. Lambert's Gladiator is swarmed by battle armor delivered by the Red Death Wasp that has jumped into its backline. He bats them off, taking fire from the Wasp, while Colonel Griffin and the Falconer lines up a shot from their perch atop a wooded hill in the backline. Griffin's PPC and lasers flay armor from the Wasp as it pulls back into the trees. In the north, Sergeant Karpov engages the Red Death commander as Warehouse Bravo collapses in flames. She scores a glancing blow with her lasers, but takes heavy return fire from the Phoenix Hawk and Urban Mech, losing 2 points of armor. The Red Death infantry takes cover in Building Delta, having no targets that have completed movement. The Frankenmech and Hetzer pull back to take cover behind their buildings as the industrial mechs push forward to join them. Lambert and Dawson push forward to put pressure on the enemy Wasp, dodging fire from the laser-equipped crosscut. They pour fire into the Centurion, fusing the leg actuator and cracking its reactor housing. Air shimmers above Lambert's Gladiator as it begins to run hot. Griffin jumps their Falconer atop the block of offices comprising Building Echo, hoping to get a better view of the battlefield. This proves to be a tactical error, however, as the Centurion, Frankenmech, and Hetzer pour fire into it. Building E sets ablaze, driving the Falconer's heat up as it returns fire, scoring only a minor hit on the Centurion. The building collapses, and the Falconer disappears into the conflagration. The Phoenix Hawk leaps over the rubble of Warehouse Alpha, hoping to join the main battle, and is pursued by Karpov's Starslayer. Their lasers flash. The Starslayer loses some armor, but scores a lucky hit on the Phoenix Hawk's leg actuator. The Urban Mech maneuvers for a shot on the Starslayer, but its autocannon hits only rubble. The industrial mechs take cover behind Charlie's block of buildings as the crippled Centurion limps toward safety. With damage to its leg and engine, it cannot fire without overheating to the point of immobility. The Frankenmech, hoping to get the drop on Dawson's Hoplite, smashes its way through a building and out the other side. Dawson easily sidesteps it into the woods, coming face to face with the Wasp. The Hoplite shrugs off fire from the pesky light mech, as well as from the crosscut and Urban Mech, as it blasts the Frankenmech's exposed backside with autocannon and missiles. It staggers, twisting its torso, and fires off a last volley as the blackened falconer emerges from the smoking ruins. Despite the heat from the burning building and a splash of plasma fire from the Frankenmech, the falconer returns fire. With a final crack of its Gauss rifle, it puts the Frankenmech down for good. The Gladiator leaps from the forest to take advantage of the Hetzer's vulnerable position, and the battle armor takes the opportunity to charge out and blast its front side with laser fire. Lambert pours his own lasers and missiles into the Hetzer, cracking its armor open. The Phoenix Hawk, not to be deterred, jumps toward the river's cool water, lasers blasting into the woods, hoping for a lucky hit on the hoplite. Karpov traces its trajectory, lines up a shot, and pierces it through the back with laser fire. The Phoenix Hawk's pilot punches out just before their mech crashes into the river. The roar of engines announces the arrival of the Red Death's air support, a pair of Corsairs that swoop in and pepper the hoplite with damage. Dawson wrangles the controls, barely staying upright as his mech takes structure damage. Regaining his footing, Dawson throws autocannon fire and short-range missiles at the crosscut as it ducks behind the buildings. Shells of depleted uranium tear its left arm off, leaving it with just its chainsaw to attack with. The opportunity presents itself as Lambert's Gladiator lands nearby. The chainsaw revs and armor screams as it cleaves into the Gladiator's back. The battle armor leaps in pursuit of its quarry, landing on the Gladiator and blasting its hip actuator to slag. Lambert does get a shot off on the Centurion, however, as it limps its way off the battlefield. Its damaged leg buckles as the Gladiator's PPC melts through it, and it falls to the ground. Its pilot powers down, the only recourse left to them as the industrial mod lacks an ejection seat. Dawson is forced to punch out as the Wasp angles around him and pours laser fire into his open backside. Unfortunately for the Wasp, Karpov's Starslayer has tasted blood and is hungry for more. Her lasers melt through the Wasp's back, turning his gyro to slag and putting it out of the fight. The humble Urban Mech, easily discounted for its size and limited movement, takes the opportunity to blast Karpov with autocannon fire. Her chest-mounted medium lasers are struck dead on, their sensitive lenses shattering, and a ton of armor is sheared away, leaving her left side exposed. Smoke swirls around the Falconer as Colonel Griffin's overheating mech marches slowly forward. They line up a shot on the fleeing Hetzer, pouring it through the rear with judicious use of lasers and Gauss rifle. Their commander down, the Red Death loses heart and flees. The battle armor mounts up on the crosscut, which sprints off the battlefield. The Urban Mech cannot escape as quickly, but has the advantage of range. The pirates have lost this battle, but with a last ounce of spite, the Urban Mech pours autocannon fire into Building Charlie and calls the Corsairs to loose their deadly cargo against it. One bomb hits the building dead on, but the other falls wide and detonates harmlessly in the empty space to the south. Though savaged, the building still stands with 1 point of structure left, and the rolls for starting fires fall short of their target number of 10. Enraged, the remaining Rangers lob everything they've got at the Urban Mech, but to no avail. The bloodthirsty pirate turns and sprints to safety in turn 7.